get into now. Let's get into the general feel of the game. Don't add that. Don't add all this mark.
You already
Don't add all these marks.
you already know.
We've all been there, you're bored and you're watching a nature documentary on Nat Geo Wild and you see a leopard and you see the amount of prowess that it takes to catch a prey and you wonder, what is the planning behind all this? Well, the game for today actually shows you all that. Today we are talking about the hunt, a leopard's journey. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Meeples Monologues, the show where I talk about amazing games I come across through my equally amazing life. And today we are talking about this. You can see the name. I don't have to say it. You can see the name, right? So The Hunt is a survival strategy game that's essentially, will I say, ecosystem management. I know you might look at it and be like, oh, it's just a cute jungle game, but it's not. It actually teaches you a lot about the ecosystem. It's a 2 to 6 player game and it's from 50 to 90 minutes. So you can tell that it actually takes a handful of time and it's for 9+, which means, a lot of people that can actually play this game. So now let's get into the general feel of the game. What is the hunt about? So essentially, you're a leopard spirit guide, and this leopard is, of course, trying to hunt and get that energy so he can get his muscles. So there are 4 different habitats in this game. The trees, let's put it like that, where animals that live in the trees live. Then there's the aquatic habitat, there's the aerial habitat, for animals that live in the sky, and there's the terrestrial habitat for animals that just walk on the floor. So essentially, your leopard is trying to hunt in all these 4 different habitats. Honestly, generally, I'll say this game is like not a chaotic game because so a lot of times we expect games to just be wow, explosions, this and this is happening, but it's very, very calm, and I think that's something I really like about it. And for the graphic illustrations, just from looking at this, you can see that a lot of attention and details were put into this. Like I said, there are 4 different habitats. There's the trees, the aerial, terrestrial, and aquatic. And I really love what the graphic designer did with this. Like, you can see the contrast and even the way they, design the animals. There's something very realistic about it, but you still know that, oh, this is not real. A lot of details. Like what is hyperrealism. Let's put it like that. This game was designed by Kenechukwu Ogbuagu, and this is actually the second time we're doing one of his games. And I actually like the construct in that game and this one because that game was about dice and a push your luck kind of game. That's one more. But this one is more about ecosystem, animals, and I think you learn a lot from this game. Actually, I learned different kinds of animals that I've never seen before. And by the time I show you the components and the cards, you too will learn a bit. So how do you play this beautiful game? As you can see, the rule book is really rule booking. So we're going to forget about this for now. Let me just tell you from a layman's perspective. So let's first start with the components of this game. This game is a 2 to 6 player game. So there are 6 game boards for each player. So, there are different kinds of, leopards on them, all very pretty. So there are 6 game boards for 2 to 6 players. Then there's also the central game board. This is one that every player gets to use. This is where all the habitats are. As you can see here, this is the trees habitat, this is the aerial habitat, this is the terrestrial habitat, and this is the aquatic habitat. And of course, in all these habitats, what are going to live there? Animals. So you have cards that actually show you what habitat the animal belongs to. If you see this with green one, that means it belongs to the trees habitat. If you see the brown one, that means it belongs to the terrestrial habitat. There's also the blue ones. The blue ones means it belongs to the aquatic habitat. And last but not the least, we have the aerial habitat. That's where you have all the birds and whatnot. And in this game, we have 8 different kinds of dice. There are the building dice, and then you have the reach dice. This will tell you how many players something is going to reach. I'll explain further, don't worry. And then there's the poacher dice. This is for poacher effects. And we also have this token. These tokens belong to the leopard of the color. So, for example, the leopard that is green gets the green token. The purple leopard gets the purple token. And that's what they use to make their marks in the game. So in this game, this is what the game board looks like essentially. And there are 4 moves a player can make during their turn. You have to make 2 moves during your turn, and you can choose from these 4 different moves, which are moving, stalking, building, and hunting. And I'll explain what each is. So first, let's go into moving. So let's imagine this is a two-player game. We pick two leopards, the yellow leopard and the blue leopard. This will determine the colors of the tokens that we use. So of course, we are going to use yellow and blue token. Now, there are cubes and there are circles. Each of them have different uses. So as for the cubes, they determine the health and the strength of a player. If you look on the game board for each player, you will see that it shows what health and what strength the player starts with. This claw in the yellow box shows the strength, and this heart in the red box shows the health. So for the blue player, it's starting with 0 strength and 6 health. So you take the blue player's tokens, come to the main game board, and place the health on 6 and the strength on 0. Of course, throughout the game, there are ways you can gain, lose health or strength. But for the starting of the game, this is where the blue player starts. And for the yellow player, its strength at the start of the game is 2, and its health at the start of the game is 4. So we'll take the yellow player's tokens, place it on 2 for health, 2 for strength rather, and 4 for health. So as earlier stated, the 4 habitats are represented on the board, and they are also represented in the 4 different kinds of cards we have in this game. So at the start of the game, you are going to place a card on the board that corresponds with the habitats. So for example, this is the trees habitat. We're going to take a tree card from the deck. There are multiple cards here, and place it here. Of course, that's after shuffling the deck. Then we'll take one card from the aerial habitat and place it here. Take one card from the terrestrial habitat and place it on the terrestrial part of the board, and take one card from the aquatic habitat and place it on the aquatic part of the board. So you cannot place, for example, you can't place a terrestrial animal in an aquatic habitat. They're going to sink and drown, of course. So, So now this leaves us with the circular tokens. Now, this is what players use to essentially hunt animals. So, of course, the blue player gets 2 blue tokens and the yellow player gets 2 yellow tokens. So when they want to hunt, first of all, they have to move, because I said there are 4 different kinds of move you can make in this game. You move, you hunt, you stalk, and you build. So before you hunt, you must first move. And moving is essentially placing your circular token where you want to hunt. So for example, the yellow player can decide that they want to hunt in the trees habitat, or better known as the arboreal habitat, and they will take one of their circular tokens and place it here. This just shows that they've moved there. So that's the first move they can make. The second move a player can possibly make is to hunt, and as it says, you just point at, oh, I want this card, and you get it essentially. That's the second move. The third move they can do is to stalk, and stalking is essentially them checking the next card. So this card is not yet here. It's not yet here, but they will check it and see if they want. If they want it, then they place it on top of what is already here. If they feel like they don't want it, they just place it back, but only they know what card is there. No other player gets to know. Now, the last possible move a player can make is to build. Build what? Build their health and their strength. And that is where the dice come in. There are 8 kinds of dice in this game. You have the health and strength dice. These dice essentially tell you, oh, this is 5 health, this is 1 strength. The strength is determined by the sword, and the health is determined by the heart, essentially. And there's also the poacher's die. This is for poacher's effect. I will explain that later. And then you have the reach die. The reach die determines how many players or how many times a player is going to get a certain power up. So let me choose one of the colors, then I'll show you what it's like to be a player in this game. So I'm going to be yellow, and as the yellow player, I'm going to move into the aquatic habitat. That's the first move I make. I have to make a second move, and the second move I'm going to make is to build. So when I want to build, I'm going to take all the dice except the poacher's dice. I don't need the poacher's dice right now. And I'm going to roll it. And once I roll it, oh, wow, this is not good. So once I roll it, first I'm going to look at the reach die. The reach die says 3. So this means this thing can only reach 3 players, or it can only be used 3 times. So first I'm going to pick as the active player. And what I'm going to pick is this die. This die says 3 sword. 3 sword just means 3 strength. So I'm going to move my strength that was originally at 2 to 5. So I've picked that one. Then the next player might pick 1 too. Let's say the blue player picks 3, because there's also a 3 strength here. Then the blue player will move from their 0 strength to a strength 3. And then according to the die, there's still one more die that gets to be chosen, and as active player, I'm going to pick it. So I'm going to pick the 4 hearts, and 4 hearts essentially means 4 health. So I move my health from 4 where it was originally to 8. Easy peasy. So in some instances, you roll a 6, and as you can see, there is no sword on the 6 and there is no heart on it. What is there is a star. This star signifies the poacher has been triggered. So when the poacher has been triggered, the player will take the poacher's die, roll it, and whatever they get, for example, this says 2. So this essentially means that the player has to either lose 2 health points. So for example, I'm at 8 health. That means I have to lose 2 health points and go to 6. Or if they don't want to lose those 2 health points, or maybe they don't have enough, they can decide to leave one habitat where they already are. For example, I'm already in the aquatic habitat. So if I don't want to lose 2 health points, I will leave the aquatic habitats. But getting a 6 star is not the only time where you get to roll the poacher die. Some certain animals have the poacher symbol on them. If you see here, there are different symbols here. So this gun means a poacher. So if you pick a card, if let's say I took this animal, I hunted this animal and I got it, and then the next card that's going here is an animal that has a poacher, that's the gun. If it has the poacher symbol, then I have to roll the poacher's die again. So on a scale of easy to brain meltdown, I'll give this a solid medium. I wouldn't say this is a gateway game. Like, this is not a game you can use to introduce people into board gaming, but it's not like a deep strategy Euros kind of game. I would say it's just like in the middle. It's strategic, but you don't have to like put too much energy into it. Once you get the general flow of the game, it becomes easy. And who is this game for? If you're the kind of person who loves resource management and strategy games, this game will be perfect for you. But if you and your friend group are all about bluffing and chaotic game, you will not like this. So my personal ranking, remember, my personal, it's about me. So, you can have a different opinion. But for me, this game is an 8.5. And that's simply because I feel like the team is strong, the graphics are really beautiful, and it is a very replayable game. The problem I have with some games is the fact that, after like playing it 10 times, you kind of know every possible way the game can go. But for this one, I feel you could play this 100 times and you still not know every possible way this game could go. So it's an 8.5 for me. The Hunt isn't about flashy turns. It's strategic, it's immersive, and it makes you know what it actually feels like to be an apex predator, which is something I didn't think I needed from a board game, but apparently I would love it. So if you've played The Hunt before, let us know in the comments. Did you like it, or do you have a different opinion from me? And like, subscribe, protect your territory, and we'll see you on the next episode of Meeples Monologue. Bye!